I saw you do an interview with a bunch of black guys. I think it was like on iHeartMedia. I don't recall. And they were asking you how you or Italians got along with the blacks in your neighborhood. Do you recall that interview?
Unless you're talking about Gangster Chronicles.
I don't know what it was called, but it was you in a room. They were asking you about relations with how you got along with African Americans.
I always got along good with them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially in prison. I got along very well. I'm not racist. I'm not anything like that. I don't walk around like in prison thinking my shit don't stink. So I had good relationships with people.
Mm-hmm.
I went to gyms. I used to spar, and I worked out with black guys and things. So I never had a problem with black guys.
You told a story about when you were in the Army that they were in line giving the food.
Yeah.
And they were calling you boy, and they were like you said the most racist people were in South Carolina at this point in your life.
Well, I didn't pick South Carolina. I was in South Carolina.
Fort Jackson?
Fort Jackson, South Carolina. I knew what racist was in New York. I mean, I knew what it is growing up. I said when I went down there and I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina, I saw it in a whole different light. In New York, I never went around where a black guy couldn't go into the same bathroom. But down there, they had that. So it was really...
Late 60s? When was this?
In the 60s. 64,
Okay.
I got it.
Mid-60s,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So it was really heavy down there. Now, probably not legally, but some of the people. And I had trouble with a couple of guys walking on the line. We were serving. He came from the Bronx, this black guy, and I heard him call him boy and this and that. I knew he wouldn't like that. I looked at him, but it didn't seem to bother him. Then he did that with me. And then he told me, whip it on me, boy. You know, and I was putting the stuff in his tray and stuff. I had that long metal spoon.
Mm-hmm.
It started dripping over, and I stopped. And he threw it on the table. And he says, when I tell you whip it on me, I'll tell you when to fucking stop. I was stunned. So I just whacked him right in the fucking head.
With the spoon?
With the spoon. And then the black guy jumped over the counter. Of course, his friend hit me with a tray, and the black guy jumped over. And we were fighting, a couple of them. And then the MPs came. We were, arrested. And the guy, the head MP, was a black guy. And he looked at me. And he says, you like helping black people? Boy, he thought I jumped in to help him. It was the other way around.
Gotcha.
But I wasn't going to tell him that. So I said, well, that's the way it is in New York. And he winked at me, so I knew I wasn't in trouble. And but we never were able to serve anymore. They put us in the back. We were peeling potatoes all the time.
No more spoons for you.
No more spoons.
It's tough to hurt somebody with a potato.
Yeah.
You got to throw it at them versus hit
Right.
them with a
And
spoon.
you're not on the line, so you're
That's
in the
true.
back with a big drum and peeling potatoes all fucking day long. So I never had a problem. My granddaughter is biracial, so I never had a problem. You know, I'm doing a video now. I was in prison and I was with a biker. This guy, Mark. He had long hair coming down, a full beard. He looked like he had all hair. His whole face, everything. You could hardly see his face. Real racist guy. And I'm in a cell with him. The unit manager was a black woman. And she says, I'm going to put you in the cell with him. I'm going to move you as soon as I can, but put up with it. Mm-hmm. So she knew he was a problem.
There's a white guy.
A white guy.
With a lot of hair.
Not a lot of hair.
Okay.
Looked like a fucking monkey. And so we have conversations and stuff. And, you know, he sees a program with a black man and a white woman. He wants to change the channel. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. So I said, leave it alone. Then the thing, every time I got up, I stepped on potato chips, pretzels. He was real dirty. That was my first argument. I said, bro, we got to live in here. Clean it. I don't want this shit on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So then one day, when I wanted to watch a program, and he didn't want it, he says, I know why you allow this. Because of your daughter. She likes black people, right? I said, shut your fucking mouth, bro. I told you stop with the racist shit. He carried on. And then he says, yeah, a little nigga baby. I hit him so fucking hard. We fought all night long because it was after we got locked
And you're in the same cell as this guy.
Same cell. We fucking bashed the shit out of each other.
All night.
All night.
Holy shit.
Got up the next day. There was a Spanish guy, Steve-O, in the next cell.
Yeah.
Sammy, what the fuck were you doing, bro? So what do you think I was doing, bro? I was fucking fighting all night. My lip is hanging. Everything's fucked. But he was all fucked up. He went to the unit manager, and he told her. She called me in, and she said, what happened? I said, nothing. She said, nothing. You're all caught up. The guy told me that you had a fight with him. So I said, listen, I had a fight. So she says, he said racial shit to you, right? Mm-hmm. Could be. Don't fight no more. I can't move you to a cell, but you're going to go back in there. Kick his fucking brains in, she told me.
No shit.
I swear to God. She says, do it what you want, but don't finish it. Just don't destroy him. Because he wanted to be moved. Yeah. I went back in. As soon as I got back in, I said, listen, I apologize for last night. So he put his hand to shake, and I whacked him a fucking shot. And I said, fuck this. I beat his fucking brains in. The next day, he went to the warden passed by. He grabbed the warden. And he said, I want to be moved. This guy's every fucking night. The warden looked at me. You fighting with him? Bro, the guy's a piece of shit. He's a liar. He's a liar. Your fucking face looks like a fuck.
Knuckles are bleeding. Knuckles are still bleeding. Yeah.
How'd you get out of this
I
one?
say, I do that to myself, bro. I do that because I'm stupid and I'm in jail. I do it to myself. The warden started laughing. He says, all right. He says, Sammy, just slow it down a little bit.
So everybody hated this guy.
Everybody hated him.
What ended up happening to the guy? Did he even make it?
I was friendly with some AB guys. And this guy, John, and he was in the same unit as me. We were in other units together. And he knew about the fight. So this guy, Mark, was going to leave. They called him, marshals are here, you're going to leave. I was so happy he was leaving. So John called him. He says, hey, Mark, you leaving? Yeah. And he put his hand out. So Mark grabbed his hand. He grabbed his hand and hit him a fucking left. So you can't do nothing because the marshals are waiting. If you don't leave, then you're going to stay there. So he wants to get the fuck out of there anyway. So everybody hated him. This guy, Jimmy the General, he was a maid guy. He hit him one day with me. That's a funny story because he was a biker, and he did tattoos. So he's showing me some of the work he did because I had a ton of tattoos. And he shows me, and his wife has her dress up so you could see the leg in the work. But she has no panties on, right? And it's up quite a bit. So I said, oh, my God. I said, this is good work, bro. I'm looking right at his wife. So I said, Jimmy, come here, bro. Look at this. Mark does beautiful work. Look, he's got Bikyak. Look at that. Bikyak in Italian. He says, take a peek at this. There's Bikyak over here. So Jimmy comes over, looks at it. He's laughing. Mark said, what's Bikyak? That's beautiful work in Italian. I said, that's what it means.
Calafaccia.
So we tortured him. But I beat him up every night.
How long did that last, Sammy?
It lasted about a week. Then he just stopped. He just stopped. He was literally crying, stop it, Sammy. Because as soon as the door clicked and the guard walked away, he knew it was like round 3, round 4. Let's go again. Wow. I just wanted to go.
Were you guys ever knocked out on the ground, after being, hitting each other so much? Was it ever to that point?
He had the top bunk, and I had the bottom bunk. So as soon as the guard was still there, locking, he would try and jump on the chair at the desk and boom, shoot up onto the top bunk, and I couldn't get him. Mm-hmm. Because if I'm short. So as I step on the chair to try to get him, he would kick. And he'd try to keep me to fuck.
Was he an actual monkey or
He was like a monkey, but he would kick me so I couldn't get on there. But I would take the kicks, back off a little bit, and then.
You would try to drag him off the top?
I dragged him off the top a bunch of times. But he would hang on to the thing. But
this
his
is
whole
like
body
wrestling.
was in,
Like you're doing a Hell in a Cell match, like you're the Undertaker.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
insane.
But Sammy, the bottom line is you guys shared a cell together. How do you even sleep
Now
at that
you
point?
can't leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
How do you
know,
even sleep?
At the end of the night, if we fight for about an hour, we could both go to sleep. Believe me.
Dude,
You could both go to sleep.
You have to. I mean, you're so exhausted and so beat up.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the whole day. Now they locked you at night. Now you're battling for an hour, hour and a half, banging all over the fucking place. You know, you stop. It's you just can't keep going. In other words, it's not that I want to kill them. I just want to beat them up.
Let me ask you. At the end of the fight, do you say, "Good night," and then like they
No,
say you?
no. There's no good nights. nothing.
See you in the
Have a
morning.
good night.
buddy. See you in the morning.
I mean, that's a great question. Though. I mean, like,
He would tell them me shit, and then
Yeah.
I would tell him, listen, tomorrow go, because I wanted him out of the cell. I don't want to
Yeah.
fight him every night. I said, go tell the unit manager to move you.
I mean, you talk about
Go complain. I don't give a fuck.
You talk about not being able to sleep. I mean, your whole life, man, you've lived on the razor's edge for so long. Like, you do something, you do some work, and then you got to think, you know, man, this is what I just did could be 25 years if anybody ever catches me. 25 years of my life, any minute, anybody could be a cop, anybody can be undercover, anything that you speak into can be wired. Like, what you talk about not being able to go to sleep. Like, what was it like in the beginning? What was it like, you know, as you were moving up the ranks? Did it ever become easier? Did it ever be like, well, they haven't caught me yet, they're not going to catch me? How did you handle the stress of being in that life?
I got caught all my life, bro. Every fucking thing I ever did, just about, especially as a kid. I got caught a lot of times. Look at my rap sheet. I'm arrested 20 fucking times in my life. I'm arrested one time on a double homicide that I didn't commit. I got out on bail, $100,000 bail back then. I came out, I got busted, robbing cars and robbing things to pay fucking lawyers and things, and I got busted a third time. I had 3 cases going at the same exact fucking time in my life when I had those cases. So I'm busted a lot of times. You know, this life of mine, I seem to be involved in everything. I was chosen to go on hits that were literally impossible. The Johnny Keys hit, the Castellano hit. I was in 3 Mafia wars. My life just never stopped. I don't know what happened or why, and I just kept going.
When did you enjoy your life? Like, what was the happiest phase of your life?
I always enjoyed my life. My wife, my kids. When I went away, I bought a farm. When we would go away from the farm, I would get off the highway in Jersey. It was Cream Ridge, New Jersey. Bro, the mob, everything was out of my head. I smelled those trees. I was in a different thing. When I went home, I shut it down. It had 2 different lives. And I wasn't just fighting and shit all the time. It happened. I think maybe my size, it happened. Fights more, thinking they could do something or get away with things. I fought in the ring. I don't give a fuck if I win or lose the fight. When I'm in a fight, I want to hurt you. Period. And I don't give a fuck if you win. But you're going to know that I fought.
You were in a fight, yeah.
You're going to say, bro, I beat him up, but I don't want to fight him again. That's all I do, you know. But I don't back up from anybody in prison. But I don't bully people, and I'm good with people. You know, I asked Patrick. I know him a long time. I never beat him up, as big as he is.
Hasn't happened yet.
Hasn't happened yet. And it wouldn't have happened.
Peaceful,
What are you
though.
smiling about? It might happen to you.
First of all, off camera, Gerard was upset because Adam was acting a little too hard around Gerard today.
Yeah.
He felt safe with Sammy.
felt safe with Sammy.
He had
He
his
said,
muscle
like,
here
yes.
with him. Yeah. But
So for the next couple hours, I'm looking right at you, Gerard. By tomorrow, lose my number. I'm not
Flexing
coming
on me
anywhere
on
near
dinner
you.
last
But
night.
Sammy, I guess
Thank you, Sammy.
let's restate, change the word happy, peaceful. Like, if you were to go think about the most peaceful phase of your life, when was it? Like, I'm talking pure peace, and I'm not talking about when I come home smelling the trees, the kids, the family, all that stuff. I'm talking pure peaceful. What was that era? Was it when you were a kid? Was it when you were in your teen? Were you, a young adult? When was that?
No, of course, when I was a kid, I had a good mother, a good father, and I had good friends in the neighborhood. I played ball. I never did anything. But I was dyslexic, and I had trouble in school. So I think that was my downfall, if you want to call it that. I had trouble in school. You know, I told somebody once, you see this paper? I told them, here, read this paper. I'll tell you. Read this paper. Then I take a blank piece of paper and I just scribble on it. And I say, read that. And you'll tell me, I can't read it, it's all scribbling. Well, that's what this looks like to me.
How old were you when you said that, when you showed that?
Well, I did that a little older, but because people didn't understand it back then. But school just wasn't for me. You know, and kids are cruel in school. When they're calling you dummy, they're laughing and this and that and the other thing. I had a little bit of a temper, especially I like girls. They're laughing, they're belittling me in front of girls. So when after school, I'll break your fucking ass, bro. So you wouldn't do it no more. And I think that's what I learned, that, you know, a good swift punch stops the laughing and stops the joking and whatever. If you're joking as a friend and you're doing something, that's one thing. But if you're trying to belittle me, I don't take that lightly. And I think I got left back in the 4th grade. I got left back in the 7th grade. And I was in a gang, so it was over. That started my life into a way of crime. Now, we were in a gang. We were like, fuck the Mafia. I'm not going to ever be in the Mafia. It's us against the world. It's all us. Fuck
This is in what, middle school type of
this
mentality?
this is 16, 17,
Okay, now you're in high school.
18, 19. I got drafted into the Army during the Vietnam War. I came out when I was 21, right back into the rampers in the gang. At 23, the neighborhood was so saturated with the Mafia, you couldn't do anything. So, while I was gone, most of my friends hooked up with somebody. So at 23, I hooked up with the Colombo family, and I did my first hit, and the rest was history. I have a start button. I don't have a stop button. Whether it was business, whether it was the Mafia, no matter what it was. And it's until today. There were some young girls who worked for me. I burnt them out. Too much work, too much drive. No other reason. But I seem to always be like that. I'm just aggressive that way. I'm 76, and I'm doing 15 different projects. With you guys, Mafia States of America, I'm working on a scripted show, on a script. I'm working on a possible documentary, docu-series. We're talking to people with. I'm on social media. I'm like a social butterfly all over the fucking place. I don't stop.
That's got to be pretty quiet. That's got to be pretty wild for you. You lived your whole life trying to keep everything under wraps, and now the entire world is snitching on themselves on a phone. All these 16-year-olds are taking like Snapchats of themselves at a party. We used to try to sneak in at night so our parents didn't know we were partying. You lived your whole life in the shadows, and now everything's on Front Street, man.
You know what I say a lot of times? I say that what I'm doing, I got 400,000 now subscribers. I got 50-something million hits on my podcast and my videos. I said, if John Gotti was alive and be looking at this, he would be so sick. He would say, that's what I wanted to be. He wanted the publicity. He would have loved this, in my opinion, because this is what he was about. Everything was a show, the way he dressed, acted. It wasn't Cosa Nostra. Me, I was on the duck. I don't want to see nothing. You know, the agents would say, what a pleasure it was to follow Sammy when he was the underboss. He'd come out of his office, a T-shirt, pair of sneakers. He'd go in the schoolyard with some kids playing handball. It was so different watching him than watching some other gangsters, playing that gangster role. I didn't do that. Low-key was for me. Now, the role's reversed. I'm a fucking social butterfly.
YouTube has had a mob with legit.
They call me Podfather now.
The Podfather.
So if you enjoyed this little short segment from the podcast that we did, here's another short segment to watch. Or if you want to see the entire podcast, click over here. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.